Hi, welcome to the Six Figure Single Mom podcast. My name is Crystal. I'm your host, also known as the Six Figure Single Mom. On this podcast, we discuss all things lifestyle, career, and single parenting. So this is a safe space for single parents. I actually love interacting with other single parents because I'm a single parent, and I just feel like we can empower each other with knowledge. And our situations are a little bit specific, right? So whenever we collaborate as like-minded individuals, we could just get so much done. So I'm just so excited to have you guys. Now, I wanted to bring you guys an episode this week because this is something that I see a lot of people talking about, but specifically for single parents, this hits home with us a lot, and it is all about imposter syndrome, right? So imposter syndrome can be very, very, very challenging, but there are a lot of game-changing strategies that we could use to combat it. Now, imposter syndrome is something that I like to consider something that you really, really, really have to be intentional about combating or fighting off. So it is that feeling that you don't deserve certain things, or that you don't belong in certain rooms, or that you are not deserving, right? So it is a feeling of you not being deserving of something. I'll be honest, when I became a single parent, I started to heavily feel imposter syndrome. I come from a family of a lot of married people, and that is just the fact of the matter. I come from a family of a lot of married people. So my parents are married. I am the middle child of two sisters. Both of my sisters are married. And so immediately when I became a single parent, I started to feel imposter syndrome. I started to feel like I didn't really belong because there was nobody in my immediate family that I felt like could relate to a lot of the things that I was going through. So I wanted to be intentional about bringing this topic to my community, the single parent community, because I know it's something that we deal with a lot that we really don't discuss. I also want to bring you some game-changing strategies on approaches that we could use so that we could combat that feeling, okay? So the first thing that you could do to combat the feeling of imposter syndrome is to acknowledge your achievements. Now, I know that sounds very basic, and I know that sounds, like very cliche, like, of course, acknowledge your achievements. But a lot of times in life, we don't do that. We're moving from day to day, we're doing things, and we never take time to acknowledge the things that we have accomplished in life. So one of the things that you could do is to reflect regularly on your accomplishments. So create a list of your accomplishments, so both big and small, to remind yourself of your capabilities, right? So when you sit down and you think back over all of the things that you have done in life, I assure you that it'll give you that confidence that you need to acknowledge your accomplishments. It's so crazy because I was talking to a coworker earlier, and we have the same car. And so we were just sitting and talking about how young we are, how established we are, and a lot of our peers are older than we are. And so we were just sitting back and talking about how we're in these rooms with people. And sometimes because we're just moving day to day, we don't really take the time to acknowledge how accomplished we are at our age, right? So creating that list, that could really, really, really start to remind you of all the things that you have done in life. And it also reminds you of all the capabilities that you have, and how valuable you are, right? So the thing for me is, whenever I step into a room, I want to make sure that I am adding value. So when I think about my accomplishments, it will force me to think about my accomplishments. No different with you. When you sit down and write out everything that you've accomplished, you will think about how valuable you are and how capable you are. So the first thing that you could do to combat that feeling of imposter syndrome is to acknowledge your accomplishments. The second thing that you can do to acknowledge your accomplishments as a single parent is to acknowledge your positive affirmations. So give yourself some positive affirmations. Tell yourself, I'm capable, I am worthy, I belong here, I am smart, I am intelligent, I'm a good parent, right? So all of those are positive affirmations. Develop a set of positive affirmations that counter negative thoughts. So repeat these affirmations daily to build a more positive mindset. A lot of times our self talk is just so negative, right? So you are talking to yourself, but it's, oh, why did I do that? Oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, I should have did that better. Oh, I understand why people don't fool with me, why they don't mess with me, right? Give yourself some positive affirmations. Tell yourself, I belong in this room. A lot of times when I'm at work and if I'm in the boardroom with a lot of peers that are older than me, that are wiser than me, that have more experience than me, I look around that room and I say, I belong here. I literally tell myself, I belong here. I am worthy of sitting with, at this point, these are my peers. I am worthy of sitting with my peers. You know, I am smart. I am intelligent. I'm a hard worker. You know, I have things about myself that nobody else has. I am unique. I am special. So your self-talk has to be positive. Give yourself some positive affirmations. It doesn't matter if you're a single parent. You belong to be in the places that you belong to be in. And you have to believe that. But the only way you can start to believe that is if you start talking positive affirmations to yourself. So that's the second thing you could do whenever you want to combat imposter syndrome, is to give yourself some positive affirmations. Tell yourself, I belong here. The third thing you could do when you want to combat that imposter syndrome is you could get some mentorship and start networking, right? So engage with mentors and peers who provide guidance and share their own experiences. Now, networking can help you to realize that you are not alone in facing challenges. If you hear what I say, I am really big on mentors. I'm really big on having a mentor in whatever space I step foot in. And I'm also big on being a mentor to someone else and investing, putting out what people have invested into me. So establish a mentor, and then not only that, but networking. So when you are on your job, when you are in the space of nonprofit, when you are in school, when you are in whatever environment that you're in, make sure that you are seeking mentorship. We don't know it all. With as much knowledge as I have, I don't know it all. So I have to have mentors that pour into me, that are pushing me to be great. Now, your mentors should push you to be great. Your mentors should challenge you on another level, right? So we're good at things. I know I'm good at some things, but I could be better. And my mentor, guess what? Is going to push me to be better. My mentor is going to challenge me to be better. And that's what we want. We want mentorship, right? Because another thing that your mentor is going to do is your mentor should point out a lot of good qualities about yourself, a lot of good characteristics about yourself, right? So your mentor should be instilling all of these things in you, and actually they're going to give you a lot of positive affirmations as well. So with that challenge is going to come positive affirmations. So then that's going to build you up to say, yeah, I can do this. I am great at this. I am good at this. I should be pushing. My next level is this, right? So when you get those mentors, make sure that you're also networking as well. So you're going to make sure that you're putting yourself in rooms. And your mentorship should be telling you this as well. But you're going to make sure that you're getting in these rooms to where you can network with others who are just as great as you are, right? So the biggest key is finding a mentor, and then networking with other like-minded individuals. Don't just get in any room, right? Networking is not about just getting in a room. Don't just get in any room. You want to get in a room with like-minded individuals. You also want to get in rooms with people that are doing better than you and people that are greater than you are. I'm always putting myself in rooms with people that are doing better than I am, because I want to always be aspiring to do something greater. So That's a way to, the third way to combat imposter syndrome is to find mentorship and also to start networking. Now, the fourth thing that you could do to combat this imposter syndrome that really shouldn't be there either anyway is to record positive feedback. So when someone gives you positive feedback or they praise you, you want to make sure that you record that. So when imposter syndrome arise or when those imposter feelings arise, you want to make sure to revisit this collection so that it reinforces how confident you can be. It should instill confidence in you. Now, an example of this would be on your job when you get a review. If you get a rave review on your job, right? If you sit with your manager and your manager says, you're knocking it out the park, you're meeting every criteria, you are a leader on this team. We want other examples of you to carry out this team. You want to make sure that you keep your reviews. I keep every review that I get. Any review that a manager does for me, whether it's a prior job, whether it's a current job, I keep every review. I make sure that it's in my email and I pull it up. When I start to get the imposter syndrome, I pull those reviews up and then I read those reviews to reinforce the feeling of confidence, right? We want to make sure that we have the confidence that we need when we walk in these rooms. We want to understand that we belong there. When we're not feeling up to par as a single parent, we want to make sure that we are reinforcing that we have the confidence to do whatever it is that we want to do. Now, if you stay for this long in this video, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. What are you waiting for? Like the video and share with someone that you feel could really benefit from these tips of combating imposter syndrome. Now, the fifth thing that you could do, because I always want to bring at least 5 tips. The fifth thing that you could do to combat imposter syndrome along your single parent journey is to set realistic goals. Now, break down larger goals into smaller ones. So you want to achieve these tasks in big waves, but you want to break it down into smaller accomplishments. Sometimes I feel like we could have these big goals, but how do they say you eat an elephant? Chunk by chunk or piece by piece, right? So you want to make sure that you're setting realistic expectations, but you want to make sure that they are on a smaller scale so that you could achieve them little by little. Celebrate your successes along the way and then reinforce, because celebrating reinforces your competency in managing challenges. Now, we know anytime we set a goal, it is not going to come without trials. It is not going to come without failures, right? So you want to make sure that you are recognizing that celebrating your successes along the way is going to reinforce your competencies whenever these challenges come, right? So we want to make sure, on my job, we call them contingency plans also. We want to make sure when you set your goals that you have contingency plans, because it's not an if statement, right? It's a when things arise or when things happen, you want to make sure that you are still able to accomplish your goals, right? So you want to have a workaround. Sometimes they call them workarounds. You want to make sure that you have a workaround or a contingency plan so that you are able to still move forward and strive whenever you are setting these realistic expectations or these realistic goals that you have whenever you are combating your imposter syndrome. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I try to think of topics that are very relevant whenever we are thinking about single parent challenges, right? And these are just real talk conversations. Every person deals with imposter syndrome. So don't feel bad. Don't feel down on yourself. Don't feel bad. Every person doubts themselves every now and then. The key is not to stay there. So I hope these 5 tips have helped you to combat your imposter syndrome. And I want you to pull this video up as many times as you need to whenever you are facing imposter syndrome. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you are liking the channel, if you are liking the content, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share. Also, too, drop down in the comments and let me know when you have come up with some imposter syndrome, or the times that you have dealt with imposter syndrome and what you did to combat those feelings as well. I want to hear from this community. This is our community. It's not my community, it's our community. I want to hear from you guys so that I know that I'm not in this thing alone, okay? We all want to feel like we're not in this thing alone. So, speaking of not being alone, I have came up with a mentorship program. Now, this mentorship program is for like-minded individuals. It is for those that want to have the six-figure single mom mindset, which is to accomplish as much as we can with what we can, and to stay around like-minded individuals that could help us take us to the next level. So if you want to be a part of this community in a more in-depth fashion by way of this mentorship program, please send me an email. My email address is sixfiguresinglemoms@gmail.com. That's sixfiguresinglemoms@gmail.com. This mentorship program has been well thought out. It is for our community. So it is for only us single parents that get it, right? Us single parents that understand what it is truly like to live this life day in and day out. It is to help make us better. It is to help us to achieve more. So it doesn't matter if you're not to a six-figure status just yet financially. We are trying to change the mindset. So we are trying to get to a six-figure mindset, right? So if this community is for you, then I hope that you will send me an email. We are waitlisting the email right now because we want to make sure that we have the right people in our community. So we are waitlisting this right now, and it is going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing mentorship program. So please send me an email. If you are not following me on Instagram, please follow me at the six-figure single mom. Again, at the six-figure single mom. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. And until next time, I'm going to be bringing you part 2 of combating imposter syndrome. So until next week, I will see you guys later. Bye.